Yes. Yes, hello. Hello, you lovely, lovely people. This is Gleb, the Cellframe content team, streaming here for you. It's a lovely, lovely foggy morning here in Northern California. Um, and we want to get into with you guys. Sorry I couldn't get my camera to work today, but you'll just hear my voice and see some stuff on the screen for today. So, all right, let's jump into it, folks. What is the name of the game this week? The quantum Bitcoin narrative continues to unfold, as you can see here in the old mainstream news hub of Google News Search. And we keep seeing some different issues playing out around Bitcoin and quantum and how big of a threat it is. You've got people weighing in on both sides here. Actually, sometimes from the same mainstream publication. Um, Here we have Forbes writing about what does Google's quantum computing leap mean for Bitcoin security. We've got people saying it's 5 years away. So Forbes is writing about kind of these mainstream articles. What does it mean for AI and Bitcoin, quantum computing? People are finding out about it. It's great. And then we have some other voices saying, okay, um, things, aren't that bad, but still, Bitcoin could take over 300 days of downtime to adequately transition to the quantum apocalypse scenario. I think, that sounds about right. I think that, obviously Bitcoin won't be destroyed by quantum. I don't think there will be a transition that needs to be made. It'll be very difficult, though. And that seems to be what a lot of people have come to conclude. Let me just check here, make sure everything is live. Oh, and where is my chat? Where is my chat? Anyone here in the chat, folks? All right, well, we've got 2 viewers. Hopefully, everything's working fine. Someone write something in the chat, please. I want to know that it's working. All right. Well, I'll keep talking. Pretend like this is all going smoothly. So, all right. So we've got the mainstream coverage continues on Bitcoin and crypto. There's Martin Shkreli, who always a contrarian opinion. This so-called pharma bro. He's been posting some contrarian opinions, so I will turn to him for that this week a little bit. What else is going on with quantum and Bitcoin? Well, we have the so-called bump in quantum, quote unquote, stocks. Is it a bubble? We don't know. But here's interesting. Someone posted on CoinMarketCap a little article, the top 5 quantum resistant cryptos for 2025. And Cell is in there. Good. Designed with quantum safety in mind. Pretty nice little blurb there. But then they have BTC as a possible quantum resistant crypto. Interesting. Well, while not quantum resistant yet, Bitcoin remains adaptable and will likely upgrade to quantum resistant algorithms. Oh, nice, Bitcoin! You will likely upgrade. Also, if you dig into it, Algorand is not exactly quantum secure. It's using a post-quantum digital signature in part of it to secure its blockchain history, but it still also needs to undergo major changes to be quantum secure. So when you're out there, folks, keep an eye out for these fake quantum companies, quantum projects. Not all of them. Everyone wants to ride the hype, but it is, in fact, just a couple of projects like Cellframe that are actually prepared for the quantum scenario. All right. Live streaming. All right. We got some hellos in the chat. Thank you, Camille and Jordan. Nice to see everyone here. All right, so just to cover up a little bit of what's going on these days with the Bitcoin narrative, here's one that says Bitcoin price drops will remain mild, and Bitcoin may hit 200K by mid 2025. Me personally, that seems like quite likely to me. If you look at the general narrative around Bitcoin, I think the institutions are going to be catching up for a while. There's an interesting article by BlackRock. Man, by the way, looking at these news articles, look, they want me to register to continue reading. Bloomberg, no, I don't want to register. I just came from Google. I'm clicking around. I want information. I don't want these roadblocks in my way. Please, can we just have a crypto-enabled internet where I can just do micropayments for everything? Please. You know, we need the real internet here. We need the real programmers like Cellframe founder Dmitry Gerasimov and all the other great people out there who are all working on the cutting edge. We need to redesign the internet, folks. I think AI will help us with this. We don't need all this crap. We just need crypto to be completely integrated with our browser so that I can pay Bloomberg whatever a cent to read this article. Please don't make, and I can't even read it. Anyway, but all I wanted to show you really was the headline. BlackRock, which is the world's largest private equity investment firm, I think they're $1.5 trillion in assets controlled. They say 2% is a reasonable allocation for Bitcoin. Now, of course, BlackRock does run the Bitcoin ETF, so they're a little bit talking their bag a little. But they are extremely mainstream, extremely huge, and if we say that every single, and since they're so influential, I think a lot of people will go for, will follow this guideline, and I think you're going to see a lot of mom and pop investors go to that 2% mark all around the world, and that's billions and billions of dollars still waiting in the wings there. Here's my old buddy Jeff Kerdekis. He's got a big Facebook group, formerly of TrustSwap. Anyway, he's a big Bitcoin maxi, and he's saying that people are saying that they're too late on Bitcoin since it was $10. And buying now is front-running entire countries, pension funds, investment funds, and thousands of companies. You're still early. So I like that. I mean, I think that's generally overall true. If you look at what, last week I mentioned how CZ, Binance is talking about how companies are going to, how countries are going to be doing reserve funds. And that's huge, right? That's what we're talking about, front-running entire countries. It's going to be Bitcoin reserve funds. Maybe there already are. Maybe China has a secret Bitcoin reserve fund. We heard this week that China is secretly buying huge amounts of gold, right? So not everything that is announced by countries is the whole story. So yes, overall, I see a buoyant Bitcoin basically based on this logic and this BlackRock guidance. Now we turn to the more contrarian view here, just to, put. Of course, I do think we should put a damper on Bitcoin enthusiasm to some degree because the quantum threat is real and it will be a shock to the system when it happens. But here's Martin Shkreli decided to be contrarian this week and say you need to be shorting Bitcoin. And this is just I thought I'd bring this up because it's just a really interesting take. Deregulation, fiscal responsibility paradoxically weakens the case for Bitcoin, an asset born in crisis for crisis. Yeah, this is something I've been pondering for a while. What is the Bitcoin narrative? And the past couple years, Bitcoin has been tied to other tech stocks. It's almost like it became a tech stock, and all the booms and bust cycles correlate with tech stocks. But really, it should be deep down. Like I agree that it's a crisis product in a sense that it was designed to create an outlet, a new parallel financial system, if you will, based on after the bubble of 2008 crashed. So interesting that Martin here is saying that with Trump coming in, you've got deregulation, which leads to greater fiscal responsibility. So the dollar might actually not be heading towards mm, hyperinflation, right? Now that Trump's in office. So this actually might weaken the case. It's an interesting take. I think we have to kind of play both sides of the ball here. Um, as people interested in the crypto ecosystem as a whole, we need to take the mainstreamification of it uh, as it comes, but we also remember that ultimately there needs to be some kind of decoupling between the kind of stability and the kind of crisis moment that Bitcoin is designed for. Also from Shkreli, he put it strangely here to buy puts on this, but he's basically saying that the quantum hype, you should bet against it. He's saying, yeah, I guess he's kind of joining in the chorus of people saying, in 20 years, we might have a problem with quantum computers breaking Bitcoin, but in the next few years, not. So, whereas this man Chamath is saying just a 2 to 5 year window. Now, I think it's a bold take. I think it's very possible that there is quite a bit of bubbliness in the quantum realm right now. I'm sure there are a lot of projects that aren't going to go anywhere. But to be a technologist in 2024 and to be betting against technology in this way is kind of weird. I mean, we have seen that, first of all, maybe AI, artificial intelligence itself, will drive an innovation in quantum computing. Who knows? Okay, so to say that you should bet against its acceleration in the AI space is kind of funny, but Shkreli is contrary and he gets clicks, and so I'm happy for him. Nice little post down here from Alts Krieg below. Good. I like this type of shilling, you guys. This is good. This has information in it. By the way, just a PSA for all the posters out there. Apparently, Elon Musk has a personal vendetta against hashtags. Okay, and I've been using hashtags. I always thought that it was a way to gather audience attention, but it seems like since Musk is like personally in charge of the algorithm, that we should probably listen to him and just stop using hashtags. I don't know. It's everyone's personal choice, but yeah, maybe the era of hashtags has come to an end. Crypto monster. All right. What else is going on here in the chat, folks? Bitmart CF20 integration, was there a post? Yeah, that was fake news, guys. Sorry about that. No announcements on that front. It was something that I erroneously put in there. We are working on integration with some exchanges, but no announcements are forthcoming yet. Camille, thank you for being here. Oh, I was surfing crypto Twitter this week, and it's all great. We've got the quantum narrative still bubbling up, and then I go and this guy pops up on my timeline, the crypto monster, and these fucking engagement bait posts, man. I think the crypto monster does this all the time. What's a must-have cryptocurrency? Show me a coin. I get so tired of these. And I'm like, all right, I'll bite. Let's see what people are shilling. Oh, look, Disco should be your go-to crypto. Hey, you're early on Disco, folks. I hope you're happy about that. What else is going on here? Oh, Gecko is the hot new thing. Yes. We have mammal coins and frog coins, but we need more amphibians here. We need Gecko. What else we got? This is ex-Marines. That's a cryptocurrency. Okay. Oh, it's XRP meme coin. Oh, great. You actually just making a random meme coin. Oh, here's my favorite one. Shib with hat, folks. Not just with hat. Shib with coin is the count. Okay. It's the only meme coin on Solana with a cult status, literally. Oh my god, people, can we end this, please? I mean, I don't want to be crotchety about meme coins. In fact, I like some meme coins, but seriously, you're gonna put a hat on the dog, and that's gonna be your new meme. That's the problem with meme coins. Memes are ephemeral. You know, very few memes last generations. Uh, you know, the dog. When Shiba Inu came out, I was seeing Shiba memes all the time. When was the last time you saw an honest to goodness Shiba Inu meme floating around? My God, don't understand these people. Monkey midget. Okay, that's interesting. That sounds pretty good, actually. Yeah, this one looks awful. Pal. Pets are legends. So they've combined various cute animals. Chihuahua surfing on 4 hamburgers. Oh, squirrel with a nut. Great. So we have the pets. We have someone making an aggregate. Please make it stop. There was a guy who came onto Mark Andreessen's side. So as far as good meme coins, I'm digging Fart Coin. I do believe Fart Coin is the one that was created by an AI, which I covered a couple of weeks ago. We had an AI that was Mark Andreessen gave it money. It started doing crazy stuff, and then it was actually able to create its own coin. And so Fart Coin's market cap is now greater than 38% of all American public traded companies. Fartcoin would now be the 40th largest company in Finland. Okay, shit's crazy. But here we have a guy really just writing a whole screed under this post by Mark. He goes, "This amazes me." He says, "I'm a member of the Versus community. I did not take VC money. No dev fees, no pre-launch allocations, just a protocol gifted to the world." And this guy's bitter, man. I'm not bitter against the meme coins. I just think people need to get over it. But this guy is mad. Today's crypto space is not like the old crypto space. It's riddled with multi-million-dollar marketing budgets, VC pullouts, rug pulls. It's sad when superior tech that literally fixes most of the current issue plaguing the crypto space, fixes a trilemma, goes completely ignored by those in the know. And then he goes on to just bash some crypto influencers and everything like that. But this guy's just frustrated with how his great product is. But you know what? Cellframe has been here since the old crypto space. You know, I think there are a lot of projects like, not a lot, but maybe a couple of projects like Cellframe who have been building for years. And I've seen so many cycles, and I think this guy might be a little shell-shocked here. Just get used to it, man. None of this stuff makes sense. Fartcoin is the thing, okay? But anyway, but reading all this stuff, it really makes me more happy to be shilling Cell. I mean, sometimes, you know, I have like a pretty low tolerance for fake stuff. You know, I have maybe a higher than average sense of what's honorable. Not, you know, I'm not saying I'm some kind of angel, but I don't like the whole idea of shilling, right? It seems a little gross. But on this backdrop, where people are shilling their combined pet coins, you know what, guys? I'm all in. We're gonna shill the shit out of Cellframe because it is a good product, and it needs to. We need to use these meme skills because it's a low bar. Look at this. What is this crap? Someone actually making a community around this, pal? Anyway. So yeah, this guy was really just really in his feels about how he's building a great product and all the meme coins are getting all the attention. But you know, hopefully it ends, and that's not going to end, but hopefully people will refocus a bit on what's important in crypto. So that was my take on the crypto monster. Anyone else popping off in the chat? Yes, sell to the moon, flying guy. Amen, my brother. Yeah, I mean, I truly believe that, I see Cell as being a great complement to Bitcoin in that obviously community matters, right? You can't just pivot and switch to a better version of Bitcoin all of a sudden because it's not just like Google. It's not just it's a community. So I think Bitcoin needs to continue to grow. We can support it. It's a store of value, and then we have Cellframe, highly efficient micropayments for the new internet. It's gonna be great. Let's meme this shit. Cellframe to the moon. Now I'm getting into a little bit of what's going on outside of crypto directly, but of course, the whole AI boom is not only affecting the tech industry as a whole and sort of taking over it as a meme, but also, of course, as I keep going on about, Cellframe itself is a hardware play. We're very interested in what we can do with hardware in new, innovative ways. Instead of just building data centers, we're looking at fog computing, getting into distributed networks, and possibly upscaling and reusing different technologies. Whether that, before we were talking a lot about the Internet of Things, how you can run Cellframe on your smart fridge. Well, now you can run Cellframe on, for example, chips that are being sold off as this chip boom grows. And this got me thinking again because we have a new big reveal from NVIDIA. They revealed a hugely powerful, compact chip that does 70 trillion operations per second, and it's small. It can fit in your little robot. Great. So, but this got me thinking of what happens really on this aftermarket, because I've been talking a lot about how we can take aftermarket products from as AI companies scale up to faster and faster chips. NVIDIA produces better and better chips. What happens to the old chips? So I asked the internet, and Reddit has a nice little track about this. When will NVIDIA A100 reach the second-hand market? Interesting. When could we expect to start seeing them on eBay? So one guy confirms, yes, indeed, old server farm hardware goes up on eBay all the time. And the prediction from some people on this thread is that within a couple years, we'll see something like the A100s for sale. Because for big companies, it's worth it to upgrade quickly, even so they'll eat the upfront expense of getting rid of the old chip and buying a new one, because for them, they need speed, they need the high performance now, and they have the cash. So, interesting, just if you guys read this, so this guy breaks down how they depreciate these video cards. This one's still fairly expensive. And this person chimes in and saying that I don't know what an SXM version is, but that there's going to be cheaper versions of some of these Pro chips coming out. Okay, that's all great. That's still going to create a huge aftermarket. Another interesting question here is, will this hardware be totally tapped out after running in a server farm for some years? He says, no, they probably will still be working fine. The cards are robust and they're designed to run 24/7. So we can put real numbers to things now as the AI economy unfolds with its mass production of chips and hardware. We can see that. He says, I would expect the A100s to flood the second-hand market in 2 to 3 GPU generations, or about 8 years. So we're talking about 8-year-old chips being extremely cheap and still extremely powerful. And that, could shorten since we're having this overheated bubble. So in a few years, I think we will see people being able to buy very powerful chips, install them in their home, and connect to like a Cellframe type network, start doing start doing cool stuff in fog computing, including running AI algorithms. One thing that we've talked about with AI is, the regulatory capture that was happening or attempted to happen under Biden. And so that's just a little bit more news on that story. Elon posted this video with, there we go, just mute that, but with Mark, where he's talking more about this meeting they had with Biden, where Biden's administration, where the government was telling them, forget about AI startups. We're going to have 2 or 3 major companies working on AI that we're going to game of 2 or 3 big companies that we're going to control and kill competition. And he said that's when he decided he had to vote for Trump. Now, one thing that Mark is not talking about, I think because it's a touchy subject, because all these Silicon Valley guys are also involved in the weapons industry in many ways. Why is it that the government is actually wanted to shut down AI? He doesn't talk about that as far as I know. But this is something I've been talking about, is that AI is considered to be like a weapons system, basically. So we have like a de-globalization factor happening in AI. And the government obviously is pushing towards it to be centralized. And now, luckily we've got Trump. We're hopefully going to have a much better AI startup environment moving forward. But yet, I still am interested in this topic of like weaponization and the competition with China. And, you keep seeing articles that, like in the FT, that point to this issue. Well, here we have Mistral, the biggest EU flagship for AI. They're having trouble getting AI scientists, and they actually had to move an office to California to get it. So we have because AI is considered to be this arms race scenario, right? The internet itself, Web 1, and the previous iterations of tech haven't had this winner-take-all scenario. So now you've got this going on, and America really wants to be the winner in this. So the American giants have sucked up all the AI talent, and poor Europe, with Mistral, is having trouble getting the engineers. But hopefully that'll start to unravel a bit, or we'll just get fresh blood and we'll get lots of cool new startups. And Mistral is great because they're actually open source. So we're all for that. I think people are going to be running open source stuff on Cellframe pretty soon here. How are we doing here? It's half an hour. Trying to keep this short this week. A question from the chat. Any idea when smart contracts will be released, roughly? I don't have that timeline. I'm not sure if that's totally first on the list. If you look up Cellframe roadmap, you can see there's some rough sequentiality here. We've got voting, KLVPN integration, bounty programs, staking, CF20 on SEX, CEX, native auctions, sharding, and smart contracts. So right now it looks like smart contracts are listed after sharding. So that might be, it might not be next on the agenda, but the agenda is not that big. So I would say that it's not going to be a hugely long time before smart contracts are enabled. But that would be a good thing to ask Dmitry for his stream, because he's got all that scheduling stuff in his brain. A team leader. Yeah, so back to the AI stories. This is an interesting AI piece from Financial Times. She's saying, what if this time it's really different? She's saying every time is there a bubble in AI? right? That's what she's asking, and she's saying, well, maybe not. But first of all, she says that uh, the AI bubble could be really bad if it does pop, because the dominance of global markets and the dominance of this theme. Interesting. Look, the Magnificent Seven in the U.S., comprising chip designers and hyperscalers, account for a third of the value of the entire S&P 500 index, and they've doubled their value over the past 2 years. So that is a kind of a scary bubble. But this Financial Times commentator seems to believe the story that actually it's different, and I think the main argument is that maybe the earnings match the hype. And then she says that perhaps perhaps AI itself will then drive more AI innovation. Right? So that's the idea, that it's not a bubble because it's going to keep accelerating. It's going to accelerate itself to drive innovation to innovate itself. Okay, so is there an AI bubble or is there not? I think it doesn't really matter for us in a sense, because there's going to be a market opportunity there either way. Either to come in and grab a niche from the big players, or the big players will collapse and things will be wide open. Yeah. But yeah, so what I was talking about with AI and the kind of nationalization and weaponization of it, here just another little story in that general vibe is that China launches NVIDIA antitrust probe. Chinese media reported that the Administration of Market Regulation has opened investigation in NVIDIA for suspected violations of anti-monopoly law. So there's big things going on in terms of a conflict between China and the United States, and NVIDIA and some of these big companies have no choice but to play a role in that. But I think what I like about the open source movement, Cellframe is a part of, and the Web3 movement, which is about decentralization. I think all these games between big nation states and big corporations, like, we don't need that. We as people, there's that meme online, you can just do things, we don't need to ask permission from, hopefully we won't need to, if we don't have crazy totalitarianism, we won't have to ask permission from the state to do a lot of this stuff. Here again we can see nation states struggling with this. So El Salvador wanted to go out on and become a leader in Bitcoin, but now the IMF is fighting them, and they've actually gotten them to back away from their Bitcoin position. So Salvador rethinks its Bitcoin dreams in return for 1.3 billion loans. So this all, I think, like I said, it's like a double-edged sword. We have to work with the powers that be if they're interested in crypto, while also building something radically new as far as people working together across the world. So I just want to finish today real quick on something that came up in the Financial Times. Like I mentioned, one of the cool things about reading FT is that sometimes you get these letters from like world leaders and major intellectuals. And a couple weeks ago, or I guess more than a month ago this was, but after Trump's election, Francis Fukuyama wrote an op-ed. And I actually have his books here. I wanted to show him on camera. But Francis Fukuyama wrote the book The End of History and The Last Man in 1992. And he had big ideas, political theory, post-Cold War, that the liberal world order, liberal democracy, having triumphed over communism, would now just be there forever. That nothing essentially would change significantly in terms of history. History defined but history classically, so Fukuyama philosophically goes back to Hegel, 19th century philosophy, and then it was reinterpreted in the 20th century by a man named Alexander Kojève in France, and they basically said that liberal democracy will be the final end state of a human society. Right? There won't be any more grand projects like communism or fascism. We're just going to have liberal democracy forever, and that means the end of history. And now Fukuyama says he's kind of backtracked from his grand ambitions. He's kind of become more of a normal political guy. And so here he had to write this article denouncing Trump, and he talks about what classical liberalism is, and then he points to like other things like woke liberalism, blah blah blah. But then he says, now, but Trumpism is like anti-liberal. That's the point of this article. And so Trump not only wants to roll back neoliberalism and woke liberalism, but is a major threat to classical liberalism itself. So where am I going with this? I just wanted to share this article with you because it's interesting how these historical moments are playing out. But if you look, I think Fukuyama has essentially relegated himself to irrelevance, because he's now, not only is he made his grand claim, which is actually still possible, right? It's possible that a kind of democratic liberalism will reign forever in humankind. But now we have more interesting, we have the whole accelerationist thing, which Elon and others are really into, right? Post-humanism, going to space, all this stuff, right? Might that all happen under democratic liberalism? Maybe. Fukuyama may still be right, but he kind of backtracked from his big position about liberalism to the point where he's trying to claim that Trump is not a liberal, and all these other leaders who aren't like perfectly aligned with his politics are no longer classical liberals. I think that's a little bit of a bullshit take. I think it's pretty weak. I think Fukuyama needs to go back and read his old book and see what that's actually all about. But my thought reading this goes back to this idea of the China-Russia, China-America Cold War, and how technology is trying to be recruited. Computers are being recruited into this new Cold War. And it just makes me think that, even if, say, we have a cooling off period from the government, will let things go, they won't interfere in technology, ultimately there's still going to be that tension there, where the government wants to control things that it sees as weapons. And, that's been going on forever. People have been trying to control the flow of weapons. The Roman Empire, okay? Why did the Germanic tribes eventually overcome Rome? Well, part of it was those Germanic tribes learned how to make war in the advanced Roman style. Technology tends to dissipate. I think, and as we get more and more open source stuff, as coding, changes with AI, I think we're going to have new things rising up that don't fit this whole paradigm that Fukuyama is in. That it's not going to fit into is it post-liberal, is it classical liberal, maybe it's something new, because when you look at these categories that Fukuyama uses, they go back to the 19th century when the state was everything. Like the Prussian state at the time when Hegel was writing was like this world beacon of civilization. They invented public schooling in Prussia in the 19th century. So Hegel himself thought that the world spirit was embodied in this nation of Prussia. And how quaint does that seem now, especially since no one now looks to nation states for leadership or for any kind of thought leadership. People can go out and do their own things. They can do Bitcoin. You can just do things. We can just make new networks. We can skirt around all those attempts by government to control AI, because we can use distributed systems, the kind that Cellframe is building, and we can have distributed communities. And, nothing can stop that. So the history marches on. Fukuyama was wrong, but maybe not in the way that he thinks. Maybe it's not about this new Cold War, because the new Cold War, it's kind of bullshit in the end. The real story of our time is decentralization and what that means for the world. Well, that was my 2 cents there. Checking on the chat here with y'all. Hell yeah, flying guy. No permission needed. A permissionless world we live in. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for watching. Keep up the good work out on the internet, Cellframe community. Shout out to our buddy on X, Mika. Before I go, shout this out. Mika has been posting that he's got a big announcement coming up about a Cellframe contest, New Year Cellframe contest. So everyone enjoy that. Enjoy the holiday spirit. You know, we love looking back on the year, so follow Cellframe for kind of reflections on the past year. It's a big important tradition, especially in the Slavic lands. So yeah, happy December 18th, everyone.